Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Dear gracious and heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the opportunity to gather here today. We thank you for the many blessings and thank you for the people who have come to participate in the process. I also give you thanks for my colleagues and their willingness to serve the county. Be with us this evening as we deliberate the items before us. And always we ask all these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. If you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Next up are approval of minutes for September 3, 2024.
Move approval.
All those in favor of adoption or approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Now we'll go into proclamations and special recognition, and the first item of business is recognizing trees upstate. Councilor Russo, please.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to recognize tonight an organization we have with us, as you can see, dressed in green tonight. Trees Upstate, headquartered, located in Greenville County at the Rewa on Malden Road. Their mission is to plant, promote, and protect trees in a 5-county region, including Greenville County. They plant trees in parks, schools, and neighborhoods, promote the benefits of trees, protect our urban forests by providing education and technical support to help inform policy and systems change. When they first started in 2005, they were a small but mighty group that wanted to do something about the loss of tree canopy by partnering with community leaders, citizens, volunteers, and corporations. Since then, they've reached many milestones, including working with over 100 corporate partners, planting at over 100 schools, planting 44,000 trees, and working with 12,000 volunteers. They also bring an economic development to the county by running the Turkey Day race that I think a lot of people may have participated in, which is the largest race in the upstate, and last Thanksgiving hosted over 6,000 participants. Trees Upstate's 5 largest supporters include Duke Energy, Mary Lou and Pat Hartness, the HIP Foundation, the Arbor Day Foundation, and Sage Automotive. As an organization, they have given Greenville County over $1 million in trees and tree care. Please stand and be recognized.
Thank you for literally keeping the green in Greenville. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to pass the gavel to Vice Chair Seaman, and I'd like to ask Deb Soden and her group to come up to the front. I've got a proclamation recognizing Constitution Week, and I'll come down there and meet you. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas September 17, 2025 marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by Constitutional Convention, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of the proclamation each year by the President of the United States, designating September 17 through 23 as Constitution Week. And whereas we honor the contributions of our nation's architects by looking to our future, encouraging this and future generations to keep the faith and to protect and defend this magnificent document, and whereas this historic milestone in American history allows us to reflect back to our nation's past and consider the sacrifice and determination our forefathers had to bring us this day. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council does honor and recognize our great American heritage and encourages all citizens to affirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by protecting those freedoms that are guaranteed through this document, and do hereby proclaim September 17 through 23, 2023, as Constitution Week in Greenville County. I want to thank Deb and her group with Daughters of American Revolution. They were up on the square in Greenville on Main Street in the rain, ringing the bell for liberty for Constitutional Week. We all have we as citizens all have liberties enshrined in this document, and so I think it's important to kind of take a pause from the regular dogfights that we have on council and all the debates that we have, and come together as a group and say, we celebrate the Constitution. So thank you for all that you're doing, ladies. Appreciate it. The next couple items are somewhat bittersweet. We have two wonderful employees, longtime employees of Greenville County that we'd like to recognize, and I'm going to ask, first of all, if Vice Chair Seaman would present the proclamation honoring Kim Wonder.
Sure. Thank you very much. Kim, if you would do me a favor, meet me up front. Whereas in 2008, Kim Wonder joined the Greenville County Legal Department and has served with great distinction for more than 15 years as an outstanding assistant county attorney. And whereas a native North Carolinian, Ms. Wonder graduated from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill and earned her Juris Doctor from the University of South Carolina School of Law. She gathered several years of experience in the private sector before joining the county. And whereas a versatile and skilled attorney, Ms. Wonder's analytical thinking, attention to detail, problem-solving ability, and openness to working with staff made her a valuable member of the county team. She took the lead on many significant projects that greatly impacted our community. And whereas finding a balance between economic prosperity and public infrastructure needs, Ms. Wonder navigated complex federal regulations, making it possible for the creation of Unity Park. Her legal acumen resulted in easement acquisition, paving the way for the expansion of the Swamp Rabbit Trail, as well as creating economic development through the establishment of the iconic community assets. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council honors the outstanding achievements of Kim Wonder, acknowledging her essential role behind the scenes on critical county endeavors and her lasting legacy of outstanding legal work that improved the quality of life for all residents of Greenville County. Kim, on behalf of council, we're so grateful for your service, and please know that you will be sorely missed.
Thank you, Ms. Wonder. You will be missed. I'd like to second that. Now I'd like to invite my colleague, Chairman Kervin, to present a proclamation to Mark Tollison.
Tollison, you join me over here?
Yes, sir.
I think it would be better if we stood over here next to the clerk's desk.
Just to be clear, this is not a get-out-of-jail-free card, so you have to go back to the desk when we're done.
Okay, it's my honor to recognize Mark for his many years of service to the county on behalf of County Council. Mark has served here as long as I have, or longer, and so I've never known a county attorney other than Mark Tollison when I've been on the county council. But we do have this proclamation, and I want to share the words of the proclamation, and then I want to share a little bit of what I think it all means, if you will. Whereas in 1999, Mark Tollison joined Greenville County Legal Department as Assistant County Attorney. He was promoted to County Attorney in 2004, and for more than 25 years served with great distinction And whereas Mr. Tollison has earned degrees from Clemson University, University of North Carolina, and the University of South Carolina Law School, prior to joining the county, he was the senior staff attorney for the South Carolina Association of Counties. Whereas during his tenure as county attorney, Mr. Tollison's legal pedigree, pragmatic leadership, problem-solving skills helped the county to navigate complex legal and social issues, working towards practical solutions for the benefit of our community. And whereas Mr. Tollison possesses exceptional communication skills, enabling him to clearly and effectively explain intricate legal matters to elected officials, staff members, and the public. His expertise in land use and public finance allowed for unprecedented economic growth, and whereas his leadership of the county legal department for more than 2 decades was marked by trustworthiness and commitment to serving the public good. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council honors the outstanding service and achievements of County Attorney Mark Tollison, whose dedication to maintaining the highest ethical standards has made an indelible impact on our community and created a legacy of exceptional legal guidance and success that has led to an improved quality of life for the residents of Greenville County. We wish him all the best in his retirement. Signed to date, Chairman Dan Tripp. Now, Mr. Tollison, I'm pleased to announce that your staff is here, all the staff attorneys and others associated with your office. It's a great legal team, and we're glad to have them here today. And what I think this means to me in my years of experience, and means to all the council members, is, we just talked about the Constitution, and we have checks and balances with our legislative, our executive, and our judicial branches granted by the Constitution. The county is organized under the laws of the state of South Carolina and its Constitution, and of course the state falls under the U.S. Constitution. So we're bound by federal laws and the Constitution and state laws. Whenever county council contemplates or develops policies applicable to the areas of jurisdiction of the county, we may come into conflict with some of these checks and balances. Mr. Tollison and his legal staff serve as an advisory judicial branch, if you will, not an authoritative judicial branch, but advisory. And so it all kind of comes together to give us the kinds of guidance on county council to avoid conflicts with other jurisdictions and laws that may wind us up in court and cost the taxpayers a lot of money. Throughout his tenure and my experience with him and his legal team, their advice and good guidance has saved the taxpayers of Greenville County hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, in my opinion. And that's a testament to you and your legal staff and the expertise that you have exhibited throughout your career. And we're so grateful for your service to Greenville County, and we're honored to be able to recognize your service in this token way tonight. And we present you with that proclamation.
I appreciate this, County Council, Mr. Kervin, and I'd just say this. Everything I've been able to do has been with the great assistance of a great legal team, and I hope that we can continue those traditions and that good advice in the future. Thank you very much.
That proclamation did not say anything about parliamentary procedure, but I will give you a tip of the hat tonight for your skill on parliamentary procedure, Mr. Tollison. Thank you. All right, one final one. Back to Mr. Kervin, proclamation for South Greenville Fair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to invite Edwin Terry and Ann Stevens, if she's here. And Edwin, bring forward any of your volunteers, people associated with the South Greenville Fair for a moment, please. let's try this right over here for a moment. Ma'am?
I'm standing in for Miss Ann. She had
Okay.
surgery.
You're standing in for Miss Ann Stevens, so we're going to talk about Miss Stevens in a moment. We've got, we ran out of time to have this framed, but we will get it framed. You might want to make a copy. You might want, I don't know where you're going to hang it. I don't think y'all got an office with the South Greenville Fair. But we did want to recognize the South Greenville Fair tonight, which is coming up this coming weekend in Simpsonville. Whereas the South Greenville Fair has its roots based on football rivalry back during the days of the 1950s, and whereas the former Simpsonville High School had a long-standing tradition featuring championship animals at halftime of football games, and once Simpsonville, Fountain Inn, and Malden were consolidated in 1957, Mr. Jeff Richardson of Simpsonville and Mr. T.C. Alexander of Malden decided to revive and continue the tradition, what became the Hillcrest High School. And whereas officially beginning in 1958, the South Greenville Fair was established to foster school and community spirit with students, and this great tradition continues at Hillcrest High School until 2004. But that's when Mr. Edwin Terry and Miss Ann Stevens stepped in and built on the tradition, moving the fair to Simpsonville City Park, gaining sponsorship for it, and eventually moving it to the new thriving home at Simpsonville Methodist Church. Whereas the fair popularity continues to grow with Fair Queen and Princess scholarship events and famous animal shows featuring beef, dairy, goat, hog, and rabbit competition. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council acknowledges 66 terrific years of South Greenville Fair, honors the men and women who worked with the skill and pride making the annual tradition such a success, and congratulates the participants whose talent made for two great days of fun at the fair, and also improves the quality of life for residents of Greenville County through their passion and purpose. The fair is going to be this weekend. Here's one of the flyers I picked up the other day, Friday. You got all the shows, and if you haven't seen these little kids, young ladies, young men, with big old cows, and they're leading them around by the halter in competition, then you really need to see that. You need to take your kids out. This is a family affair. It's popular throughout the community, and everybody's welcome to attend. And Mr. Terry, would you like to say any words about that?
Yes, it's free. We don't try to charge anything, but I was one other person that helped establish this fair, and was probably the instrumental person was Mr. Conway Jones, that owned about 20 T.E. Jones stores in the state of South Carolina, furniture stores. And he also was on the school board, and he also shut down Fountain Inn High School, Simpsonville High School, and Malden High School. Can you imagine what? He was the most hated man in Simpsonville, or Fountain Inn at that time, and after he started the fair and Hillcrest worked, he was fine. He was a great agriculturalist.
But the main reason I think we're here tonight is the fair would not be here today. It would not exist without the efforts of Edwin Terry and Ann Stevens and the many others that volunteered and helped y'all do that. So thank you very much. And I'll leave you with this proclamation, and we'll get it back and get it framed for you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Good.
We go. Got a drift.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Look forward to the fair this weekend. All right, the next item on the agenda are appearances on items that are on the current agenda. We've got two speakers tonight. The first one is Sherry Barrett. If you'll come up and give us your name and address for the record, and tell us what you'd like us to hear.
Thank you. I'm Sherry Barrett. My address is 5 Calhoun Hill Way, Greenville. I'm here tonight on behalf of Upstate Forever. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Upstate Forever urges council to vote no on Metro Connect's proposed boundary expansion as currently delineated for several reasons. One, the boundary expansion includes several glaring areas that run explicitly contrary to the comprehensive plan adopted by council in 2020. Two, it will undoubtedly exacerbate sprawl in unzoned areas. And three, there has been no compelling reason provided for why boundary expansion is needed now. With respect to the comprehensive plan, the proposed expansion includes large areas designated in the comp plan as rural and rural living, areas calling for a blend of agricultural open space and residential densities of 1 home per 2 acres, and suburban edge calling for residential densities at 1 home per acre. It's hard to imagine how providing sewer service to such areas could be economical unless the intent is to serve development much denser than the comp plan advises. Furthermore, the proposed expansion includes large swaths of unzoned areas that are extremely vulnerable to sprawling development, residential development, due to a lack of land use restrictions. The potential for sewer service in such areas exacerbates this vulnerability and will undoubtedly spur development at intensities totally unsuitable for such areas. To date, there has been no compelling reason provided by Metro Connects for why the boundary expansion is needed now. The county has recently initiated the 5-year review and update to the comp plan. That update, once public input has been collected and council has considered it, should be the basis for any boundary expansion. Finally, we have heard from some of you that you do not oppose this proposed expansion because there are presently no clear plans and potentially no funding to actually install new sewer infrastructure. However, if this expansion is approved by council, Metro Connects will not need to return to this governing body for approval to install sewer lines to serve new development. Therefore, if there are areas within the proposed expansion that council does not want to see high-intensity residential development in the near future, the time to influence that decision is now with this vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. Melanie Burke-Ruhlman, will give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, council. My name is Melanie Ruhlman. I reside at 301 Keeler Bridge Road in Marietta. I represent Save Our Saluda, a nonprofit watershed organization that works to protect and restore the Upper Saluda watershed, which includes the western portion of Greenville County. We work together cooperatively with 20 partner organizations through our program to provide financial assistance to rural landowners for soil conservation projects to help protect our rivers, water quality, and downstream drinking water sources. I'm here to speak also to item 10C, the Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict Boundary Enlargement. Metro Connect proposes this expansion in some areas to the north and south that clearly overlap into rural and unzoned areas. I hope you have had a chance to study the overlay of these expansion areas onto the current future land use map. We oppose expansion of the Metro service area into these areas as it is inconsistent with the comp plan and future land use map and is a recipe for sprawl growth, as it invites high-density development into areas of the county meant to remain rural. We appreciate the great work that Metro does to help protect water quality and provide sewer service, including fixing old and leaking pipes and addressing failing septic systems in older communities. In fact, we publicly supported the consolidation of sewer subdistricts a couple of years ago for these reasons. However, we see no justification for expansion of the service area into our rural and unzoned areas in the northern and southern areas of the county. A decision to allow sewer service expansion into rural and unzoned areas of the county is a step in the wrong direction and will open the floodgates to overdevelopment of rural and unzoned land. We do not want to become Atlanta. Please vote no on item 10C. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Appreciate you coming tonight. All right, next item on the agenda are public hearings, and I'll call on Chairman Kervin for item 7A,
Thank you,
Vermeer
Mr. Chairman.
Corporation.
Excuse me, right, Vermeer Corporation, formerly Project Gold. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of an amended and restated fee in lieu of tax and special source credit agreement by and between Vermeer Corporation and with respect to certain economic development property in the county, whereby such property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision of a certain special source credits and other matters related thereto. Madam Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, we have no one signed up for this public hearing.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing closed then. Thank you.
All right, 7B, I'll turn that back over to you for Foothills Fire Service Area.
Yes, sir. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance to provide for the millage rate to be levied by the Foothills Fire Service Area. Has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, we have no one signed up for this public hearing.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing closed.
All right, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the ayes have it. We'll now move to ordinances at third reading. I'll call on Dr. Fant for quite a few on third reading.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. State your point.
The first item, number I believe we voted to send that back to second reading. We voted to put it on a hold.
We voted to hold it at third
We
reading.
reconsidered the vote whereby it was tabled or denied, and that passed, the reconsideration vote passed, and then we held it. So it's currently it was held over from the last meeting, so it automatically would come up.
It was at third reading last time when we held it.
I got you. I thought I was trying to fix it to go back to second reading, but
You can't go back in readings. You can reconsider the vote whereby it was denied at third reading.
fair enough. I would ask, go ahead, I'm sorry. I would like to just speak on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Pant?
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Property located at 2022 and 2024 East Lee Road, Taylor's. This is one that was requesting rezoning from R20 to R10. The Planning Commission recommended approval, and the committee recommended denial. And so it's back on the floor at third reading for denial, unless Mr. Shaw wants to do something different.
Yes.
All right. Would you like to be recognized to speak
yeah,
on it?
Yes. Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. I just wanted to ask my fellow counselors to vote for a hold on this. I know it's been a lot, but I think we have a solution that the applicant and the community would agree on.
Ms. Seaman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Shaw, do you feel like if it's going to be that's a change, do we need to send it back to committee so it needs to be like, or do we need to make room for amendments at third? Because if there's going to be a change, we want to have the ability to change it.
Can you do that? That has to be done at second reading, I
We
believe.
could suspend the rules to take up amendments at third and then,
Take up amendments at third, and you could make that motion, suspend the rule relating to notice to make that motion. You could refer it back to committee.
I make a motion to suspend the rules to refer it back to committee, please.
All right. So all those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, so the rules have been suspended. And so your motion now is to send it back to committee?
Yes.
All those in favor of sending it back to committee, say aye.
aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. It'll go back to committee. Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you.
Item 36.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. CZ 2024-036, property located at 123 Mason Street, Ross Street, and 4, 6, and 8 Jones Street. Greenville requesting rezoning from NC and R75 to FRD as amended. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion is approved. Ordinance is adopted.
CZ 2024-038, property located on Buncombe Road and Old Buncombe Road, Greenville, requesting rezoning from RMA to C2. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right, all those in favor of adoption at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. 40.
CZ 2024-040, property located at 200 and 204 Averill Street and Deal Street, Greenville, requesting rezoning from RM20 to FRD as amended. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All those in favor of adoption at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. 43.
CZ 2024-043, property located at 1711 and 1713 Old Spartanburg Road and Hudson Way, Greer, requesting rezoning from R12 and RM7 to FRD as amended. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All those in favor of adoption say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. CZ 44.
CZ 2024-044, property located at 505 John Ross Court, Pelzer, requesting rezoning from C3 to S1. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading.
I did. CZ 2024-045, property located at 202 Brown Road, Sagittarius Way, and Interstate 185 Piedmont, requesting rezoning from RMA to I1. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted at third reading.
MCZ 2024-046, property located at 1726A Highway 418 Pelzer, requesting rezoning from RR3 to C1. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. Next item on the agenda is 9B, Foothills Fire Service Area. Chairman Kervin.
Thank you, sir. I move for adoption at third reading an ordinance to provide for the millage rate to be levied by the Foothills Fire Service Area.
You've heard the motion. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes
Opposed.
have.
We have one.
Who's opposed? Okay, so noted. The ayes have it. 9C, Vermeer Corporation, Chairman Kervin.
Yes, sir. I move for adoption at third reading an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of an amended and restated fee in lieu of tax and special source credit agreement by and Vermeer Corporation with respect to certain economic development properties in the county, whereby such property will be subject to certain payments in lieu of taxes, including the provision for certain special source credits and other matters related thereto.
Okay, motion is adoption at third reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted at third reading. Ordinance is second reading. 10A, Chairman Kervin, Slater Marietta Fire District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move for approval at second reading an ordinance finding that the Slater Marietta Fire District may issue not exceeding $1,275,000 of general obligation bonds to authorize the Board of Fire Control of the Slater Marietta Fire District, South Carolina, to issue such bonds and to provide for the publication of notice of the said finding and authorization. Mr. Chairman, I move to hold this item until the October 1st council meeting, at which time the public hearing is to be scheduled.
All right, all those in favor of holding until October 1, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. This will come back to us on October 1. Item 10B, Chairman Kervin, Lake Cunningham Fire District.
Yes, sir. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance finding that the Lake Cunningham Fire District may issue not exceeding $1,275,000, excuse me. Slater, Marietta, Lake Cunningham, you
Yeah,
got the
Lake
same
Cunningham.
amount?
Yep, it's $9 million
Yeah, that should be $9 million. Sorry about that.
here, right here.
I know, it says that there, but it says that there.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move for approval at second reading an ordinance finding that the Lake Cunningham Fire District may issue not exceeding $9 million of general obligation bonds to authorize the Board of Fire Control of the Lake Cunningham Fire District, South Carolina, to issue such bonds and to provide for the publication of the notice of the said finding and authorization. I move to hold this item, Mr. Chairman, until the October 1st council meeting, at which time the public hearing is scheduled.
All right, all those in favor of holding this till October 1, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. We'll consider this on October 1. 10C, Vice Chairwoman Seaman, Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance authorizing the enlargement of the territory of the Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict and other matters relating thereto. And I move to hold this item until the October 1st council meeting, at which time the public hearing is to be scheduled.
All right, all those in favor of holding this until October 1, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. We'll consider this on October 1 meeting. All right, next item on the agenda are ordinances at first reading. I'll call on Dr. Fant for a page full of them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I present for first reading zoning dockets CZ 2024-055, CZ 2024-058, and CZ 2024-061 through CZ 2024-065.
All right, and those will be referred to the Planning and Development Committee. Next item is 11B, Piedmont Area Plan. Dr. Fant.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I present for first reading an ordinance to amend the Greenville County Comprehensive Plan in the Piedmont Study Area.
All right, that'll stay on the floor. Chairman Kervin, Project Onward.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I present for first reading an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a multi-county industrial business park by and between Greenville County, South Carolina, and Lawrence County, South Carolina, to designate the boundaries of the park and other matters related thereto.
All right, that'll stay on the floor as well. Why don't you take the next one, D, transfer of Fairmont Avenue properties.
I present for first reading an ordinance authorizing the transfer of approximately 15 acres of real property located off Fairmont Avenue to the Greenville County Redevelopment Authority, and to authorize the execution of a deed by any other documents and agreements related thereto.
All right, that item will stay on the floor as well. Now we'll move to committee reports, and we'll have a report from Vice Chair Seaman on the Committee of the Whole report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In regards to the first item, settlement of case number 2024 CP 23-00893, that item was held in committee. And in regards to the second item, I move to authorize the county attorney to settle the following lawsuit according to the terms discussed in executive session, case number 2023 CP 23-03240.
All right, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is Administrator's Report.
Mr. Chairman, I have more of a acknowledgement than a report. I'd like to acknowledge the county attorney sitting next to me that I've had the privilege of sitting by for almost 21 years. I've gotten to work with the guy every day for almost 21 years. And he has always been the voice of reason, always had sage advice, and he even has had an even demeanor most of the time. He does always have the best interests of the county at heart. And whenever we have had conversations about any of the issues that we've dealt with over the last many years, that's always been what has risen to the top. The decision has always been based on what is best for the county. And so I'm sorry to see him leave. I'm happy to see him retiring. He deserves it. But it's going to be lonely sitting up here after this meeting. So thanks, Mark.
All right, on that note, that concludes our
Mr.
business.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question that I don't know when the right time to ask it, but what is the proper protocol to change the meeting minutes or meeting agenda and making a revision like we did today?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just asking, we were given a meeting agenda on Friday.
Okay.
And then we came in today. Was it revised today or was it revised Friday? Maybe I missed that.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just asking, how can you change the agenda is what I'm asking.
I didn't change the agenda.
No, I'm not saying you did.
Okay.
I'm just saying, how can we as a body, what's the rule on that is what I'm asking.
Okay. Mr. Kervin?
that the item that was added was the South Greenville Fair Proclamation. It came in late. It's not a substantive matter for council or policy-wise, and I think the FOIA rule says it has to be posted within 24 hours of the meeting. So we get an extra few days to study our agenda by coming out Friday. That's not required by law. 24 hours is what the law says.
Okay, well then, may I ask, which is a great cause, and that wasn't the issue. If we do make changes on the agenda, can we highlight them and let us know what changes were made in the future, please?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I didn't know that this was added until this evening, so.
Again, I'm just asking for help as a body that in the future, if the agendas change, we all know together.
Okay. I'll ask the clerk if they'll do that. Thank you. All right, any further business?